All right. Welcome. Good afternoon. Just a few notes before my colleague Sharon from the Office of Special Events gives us all of the commencement details that we're looking for. So much good stuff in planning for a very, very large celebration that we're going to have in May. It's so exciting. If you're just joining us or watching on YouTube, I had said earlier, but congratulations. This is so awesome, and we are so excited to hear from Sharon today. We do have two colleagues from special events, Ashley and Jason, behind the scenes to type you any answers in the Q&A. The Q&A is open. I just ask, Sharon has a lot of great information to share, and your questions are probably going to be answered in that information. But if they're not, towards the end, we'll have some time for the Q&A. The chat is not available, but the Q&A is, and you can pop them right into there, and we will get you those answers. But if you're able to watch the whole thing with us, you're going to get a lot of really good information. And so, Sharon, I'm going to turn the virtual stage over to you. But every time we do this webinar, you know I love to ask you, what number Pitt commencement is this for you?
Thanks, Summer. Hi, everybody. So I'm not sure exactly which commencement this is, but this will be my 20th year here at Pitt this year. So
That's awesome.
um, sometimes I've worked on commencement. I started planning it a while ago. But yeah, 20 years. So it's exciting.
That is exciting. The floor is all yours, but
Okay.
Ashley, Jason, and I are here to support you.
Wonderful. All right. Well, again, thanks everybody for joining us. And I always appreciate Summer. I think this is the third time I've done this now. And I appreciate the chance to get on and talk to everybody and pass information along to parents. Um, uh, a little bit of a backstory on why I really enjoy doing this. I actually have a son who was the class of 2026. He should be graduating, but he's now in the School of Pharmacy. So he's in the school of 2028 now, so he'll be here for 2 more years. But I know where you guys are at. I have an older son too, but I know how hard it is to get information from your soon to be graduate, whether they reply to text, phone calls, tell you, I don't know. It's just difficult to get information. So it's nice to be able to relay as much as we can to the parents, and then point you in the right direction to get additional information as we get closer to the day of. So I'm going to run through everything that I have. And like Summer said, you can put something in the Q&A or we'll talk about it towards the end. So, and with that, I will get started. So this is for all the information I'm talking about today is for the university-wide commencement ceremony. We will touch briefly on some of the individual school things once we get into this, but everything detail-wise that I'm providing you today is for the university-wide ceremony. All the schools get invited to the ceremony. And again, it is for this year, it's at AccuShore Stadium on Sunday, May 3rd, and our start time is at 3:30. So why AccuShore? We have got some of those questions as to why we seem to keep moving things around. Attendance for the students who want to attend this university-wide ceremony has increased substantially over the past 5 years. Pre-COVID, our numbers stayed pretty consistent, and it seems like once we came back after the pandemic, we just get more and more students. Every year we gain about 200 or 300 students who want to attend, and we're running out of space. And it just goes to show that the larger incoming classes that we have, which that's part of the plan for Pitt is to grow their incoming class. The larger the incoming classes get, the larger the graduating classes are. So that's just the way it is. And there is no facility that can host one ceremony, one university-wide ceremony in the Pittsburgh area. I know people always ask comments about what happened to the Peterson Event Center, what about the Convention Center? They just won't hold the amount of people that we have. We did the ceremony last year at PPG Paints Arena, so that currently would hold us. Last year we lucked out, kind of. I hate to say that, because that's where the Pittsburgh Penguins play hockey at, and they were out of playoff contention by January. So we were able to secure PPG Paints Arena because when the ceremony happens, that's during the playoffs. This year, thankfully, kind of, they're doing fantastic. So they are still in playoff contention, and PPG Paints was not an option for us this year. They were great to work with. We loved it down there, but It's the home for the Penguins, so they have their priorities, obviously. And AccuShore, obviously, AccuShore is very large and able to hold us, so that's why we ended up there. Before we kind of get into things, I really need to highlight this because this always is a question that comes up all the time. Graduation and commencement are two very different things, according to the University of Pittsburgh. So graduation, and what we call it here on campus, that's when your student completes all the degree requirements that are necessary for them to graduate. So they've completed all their classes, they've earned their credits, they're done in April. Students have to apply to graduate through the registrar's office. Whether they're going to attend commencement or not, or any of their individual ceremonies, they have to apply to graduate through the registrar's office. That office is completely separate from our office, which is the Office of Special Events. So your student will apply to graduate. And then what commencement is commencement is the ceremony. That's when we celebrate them graduating from school. Everybody who's registered to graduate gets an invitation and they have to register to attend the ceremony for ours. And I will just say for all the individual schools, they all do their own individual registrations as well. So it's just important to keep that in mind. We always have students who write to us after the deadline closes and they're like, well, I applied to graduate. That's separate. So graduation is when they officially graduate from the university, and commencement is the party and the celebration. And when you and your friends and family get together with your graduate and get to celebrate that they've graduated. So that's just important to keep those two in mind. So where should you get your commencement information for you and your student? Commencement.pitt.edu is run by our office. It's the official commencement website for the University of Pittsburgh. There's a ton of information up there now, and we are constantly updating it simply because we don't have some of the information, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. But if you have any questions at all about anything regarding commencement, I always recommend that you go to the website and look around. Everything is on there. You can also contact us with questions. So commencement@pitt.edu, and our phone number is on there as well. We have a staff person in our office who it's their job to answer all the emails. We respond within 48 hours at the most, and there's someone who answers the phone from 8:30 to 5 o'clock every day. So you can always contact us. I have an asterisk next to that just for a little policy to throw out there that our office follows. So you as parents or guardians, friends, family, you can always write in or call our office with questions about commencement. Logistics, timing, parking, shuttles, anything like that, you can always call our office. What we won't answer in our office policy is if a parent writes in and wants to know specific information about your student. Did Johnny register? Is Susie, how many tickets did she request? What are they doing? We cannot answer any questions about your child. And I know that's hard. And as parents, and I'm right there with you, sometimes it's easier just to get the information yourself and not wait on your child. But we can't answer anything specific about your child. So if they have specific questions, students can write in or call us and we'll talk to them. But as parents, we cannot give you any information specifically about your child. So that's my disclaimer for that. On the commencement website, we also list everything that we get in from the schools. All of the different schools do either their own ceremony or their own recognition, whether that's a breakfast, a lunch, a reception, something along those lines. We know Arts and Sciences does not do an overall ceremony for their school, but every department, every major, for the most part, does something for their students. So we collect as much as we can from all the different schools and departments, and they're all listed on the commencement website as well, especially a contact name, number, or email. So if you're looking for information on Swanson School of Engineering, when is mechanical engineering, what are they doing? It should be on that website. Every time we get information, we put it on there, and we try to hound the schools just so parents have a one-stop shop of where you can go to get as much information as possible. So anything about schools and recognitions, our office doesn't do that, but we try to provide you with a name and a contact information to get that. Um, and aside from the website, the other place to get information is to use the official University of Pittsburgh social media accounts, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I can't say that X bothers me. So Twitter, but you have to make sure you're using the official accounts. So like I said, I have children who've gone here. I am a part of the parent of the class of 2026 and 2024 and now the 2028. So that's a great place to go. Those accounts have helped me with my own children, with their struggles and issues as they made their way through school. That is not the place to go to get the official information. Sometimes I do pop on there and answer a question or two. I try not to. Um, but that's not the place to go to ask questions if you want the actual answer, because parents who have kids have graduated 4 years ago will come on and say, oh, you get 4 tickets. Well, that's not accurate anymore. So please just, if you want specific information, use the website or use the official Pitt social media accounts. They pull information from the website. So again, those places are great. The other ones, the parent groups, to talk about where to go to eat, what you're doing. I saw somebody wants to tailgate. So all those things are great for that. But if you want official information, please use either the website or Pitt's official social media accounts. So who is invited and how are they invited? So undergraduate students, again, who have applied to graduate through the registrar's office are invited to attend the ceremony. A student has to have applied to graduate in order to get invited. Because how we get the names and send the invitations is all the individual schools, business, Swanson Engineering, social work, they pull their list of April graduates from the registrar's office. They pull their lists for their students, they double check them, and they send the list to us. So we're just kind of a clearinghouse where we collect all the names of the students who are graduating from the schools. Schools will continue. We have the bulk of the names of the kids now, but you can apply to graduate up through April 1st. So if someone applies to graduate March 31st from the School of Social Work, they'll still send us their information all the way up until graduation, the deadline. So we just keep inviting students on a rolling basis. Like I said, we probably have 90% of the kids have already been invited, but we will still keep adding them. If they decide to graduate, we'll add them to the list. Invitations for the ceremony have already gone out. They went out last week. Everybody should have that. We always tell people, because we get kids who write in and say they don't have it, check their spam, check their junk mail. Sometimes they delete it by accident. But everybody who's registered to graduate as of today has a copy of the invitation they've been invited. Our office also sends, aside from inviting new kids who have registered, we send reminders every single week out to students. Sometimes I feel like we annoy them, but that's how it goes, and that's what we need to do. We send reminders every single week to students saying, you have not registered, here's an invitation. So we try to stay on top of them to get them to register as soon as possible. So some key dates. Graduation Central Kickoff. That's at the University Store on 5th. That's the University Bookstore. That kicks off on Tuesday, April 7th. Right now, you can go online. There's a link on the Commencement website, and you can also go to the University Store on 5th, their website. You can now order regalia for your students, for your graduate online now. So that is opened up. You can order online. They can order and buy it in the store starting April 7th. If they order it online, they'll pick it up in the bookstore. This continues all the way up until the ceremony for the most part. But just so you know that for right now, again, the registration to apply to graduate with the registrar's office, that is Wednesday, April 1st. That is a hard deadline for them. If your student is still trying to decide what they're doing, what they're going to do, they have to apply by April 1st. They don't give an extension on any of that. So, and along those lines, the commencement registration deadline, that would be for registering to attend the university-wide ceremony, is Thursday, April 9th at 6 o'clock. That's a hard deadline for us. We pull everything off the website as far as the link to register, and we don't add anybody after that. We try to make that like a week after the registration to graduate, just to give students a little bit more time. We try to wait till graduation central kickoff happens because we try to grab kids as they're coming into the bookstore. Um, but that's the deadline for us. And then we do host a professional photo session where your students can sign up, and there's a pre-registration link on the commencement website. There's 2 dates. They can pick a time and pay a small deposit. They can get headshots in their cap and gown. They can get regular headshots, things like that. That's all done by an outside company, but that's on our website as well if your student is interested in doing that. Okay. So here's where I feel like people are the most interested in. So what is going on that weekend of commencement? So, and I know most of you probably already know this already, but there's two things happening the same day as Pitt's commencement ceremony. So the marathon and the pirate game. So the Pittsburgh Marathon starts at 7 a.m. on that Sunday. That will have little to no impact on the commencement ceremony at all. So I don't say 100% because it may impact you depending on what your plans are on Sunday morning. If there's something on campus like a department recognition, parts of the city are closed down and parts of Oakland where the campus is located at are closed down. Where the marathon is at in relation to AccuShore Stadium, those streets in that area, the North Shore, will be open by 10, 11 o'clock. So it's not really going to impact the ceremony at all. Now, if you want to be the first person in line at the gate at 9 a.m., it's going to impact you. If you are staying in a hotel downtown, the roads may be closed around you. It might have an impact on you. You'll still be able to get to the ceremony. It's just going to take a little bit of planning. And as we get closer to the day of the ceremony, all the information that you're going to need regarding the marathon, what's closed, what's not closed, what's open, that will all be on the website for you to look at. And then the pirate game, that's also happening that same day at 1:35. This will have an impact on commencement to some degree. PNC, for those of you who are not from the Pittsburgh area, PNC Park and AccuShore Stadium share a lot of the same parking lots and garages that are down there on the North Shore. There is plenty of parking down there for both things, but when you have something at the same time, it kind of limits parking down there. So these two things will have some impact on the ceremony. So what does that mean? Make a plan before May 3rd. If you wait until the morning of the ceremony at 10 a.m. and think, oh, maybe I better look to see how I'm going to get there or what time things open or what roads are closed, it's going to stress you out. It'll stress your student out. Plan ahead of time. So that way you can relax and enjoy the day with your graduate. And the other thing I wanted to throw out there is that rest assured that any planning for commencement, it's not been done in a silo here, and we're not on an island on our own. We have been in constant communication with AccuShore, with PNC Park, with the people who coordinate the marathon, city police, traffic engineers, the university. Everybody is already working together on this. And I can tell you that no one is concerned about everything that's going on in the city that day. If you're from the city, you know that it's a large city. There's a lot of things that happen at the same time every weekend. It just is. No one, parking, transportation, no one's concerned about these things happening at the same time. We timed out the ceremony and pushed it back a little bit because by the time the pirate game starts, everybody will already be in PNC Park when the doors open up and when we start loading in. So please don't think that, because I know people think, why did you pick that day? Why is this happening? A lot of those things are out of our hand. But the great thing is that we have such fantastic partners that everything is already being planned out now. So I'm not going to say it's going to be perfect, but I don't think it's going to be as scary as people think it's going to be. And again, if you go in with the mindset of taking 10 or 15 minutes in April, look at the website and plan where you're going, where you want to park at, how you want to get there, and how you want to get back, it will be smooth sailing. So, and relax and enjoy your day. This is going to be an exciting day. So it's always fun. And we want to make sure if you plan ahead, everything will work out. Okay. So these are more now details about the ceremony itself. So how are you going to get there? And let me preface before I go into everything else. This is the information we have as of right now. We are still meeting, working, coming up with more and more details. Everything is going to be on the website, which is why we try to push everybody to that. So we control that. As soon as I have something set in place, I send that over to Ashley, and Ashley puts it up on the website for everybody to see. So here's where we're at today, but we will add more and more details as we go on. So as far as getting there will be limited parking around AccuShore Stadium. If you are not familiar or not from the Pittsburgh area, it is a huge stadium where the Steelers play at. There is not, it's not set up in a way that you can park right outside the door and walk in. It's a stadium. So parking is going to be limited along with what the Pirates take over. There will be parking down there, but you're not going to be able to pull in, park, and walk right in the door. There will be some walking involved, so please keep that in mind. So, which is why we like to push some of these other things. What we do all the time is there is a free shuttle service for graduates and guests that will be leaving from campus. And we'll have more details about that once we get that situated on the website. So parking on campus on that Sunday is free, no matter where you park at. They waive all the parking costs, and the shuttle is free. So you can pick up the shuttle. It'll take you down to AccuShore, drop you right off at the exit. And when the ceremony's over, if you need to leave early, the shuttles run nonstop. So that's an option for you. The light rail system, which is the T, if you're not from Pittsburgh, it's the light rail system, our subway system, but we call it the T. That will be in service and has locations downtown and at Station Square. The T also drops off right at the entrance of AccuShore. If you're staying in a hotel downtown, I would highly recommend finding the T location. And again, we'll have that on the website, but you can hop on the T within the city of Pittsburgh. It's free. It'll drop you off right at the door. So that's an option. And it's tentative right now, but we're working on getting the Gateway Clipper to run from Station Square. That is on the other side of the river from AccuShore Stadium, if you're not familiar with down here. But you can ride the Gateway Clipper over from station. You can park there, ride the Clipper over. It literally drops you right off at another exit or another entrance to AccuShore. So again, all of these will be on the website, but again, it's just going to take you deciding how you want to get down here and how you want to get back. And I know if you're planning on dinner afterwards, lunch before, sometimes it helps to work from there. If you're going to dinner on the north side, park over there. If you're going in Oakland, you need to come back to your hotel, ride the shuttle. It just takes a few minutes for you to figure out what the best way to get there is for you and your family. So this is another question we've gotten quite a bit is the weather. What's our plan for the weather? The plan is rain or shine. So as I mentioned in the beginning, there is no facility that we can use to hold the 25, 30,000 people that are going to be in attendance. There's just no place to put them at. So it will be rain or shine. If the weather conditions become dangerous, thunder, lightning, sometimes we get microbursts here, knock on wood, it's not going to happen. There are safety protocols that AccuShore will follow and will adhere to what they have. So if it's rain or shine, again, plan your day out ahead of time. Ponchos, and I know we keep talking about rain, but the other option, if you're not from around here, the beginning of May in Pittsburgh, it could be 80 degrees and sunny. It could be 50 and raining. It could be snowing. It's a hit or miss type of thing. So everybody just needs to be prepared for whatever weather conditions there are. We recommend ponchos. You can bring umbrellas into AccuShore, but you're not allowed to put them up in the stands. So it'll keep you dry till you get there, and then you're not allowed to use them. So ponchos, again, if it's sunny, sunscreen, hats, coats, just be prepared and plan ahead for whatever the weather's going to be. If in the event of some emergency, we will always be updating social media and on the commencement website. Obviously, we don't anticipate that, but it's worth it to take a few minutes to find the different official Pitt channels on social media and the website and bookmark those so you can go to them quickly if you need to. Okay, so for the details for the stadium, most of the policies for AccuShore apply to commencement. So we don't get to set our own rules when we're using their building. That's included, but not limited to security, their bag check, what they do for severe weather. Um, and we have links to what we need to pass along from AccuShore. All of that eventually will be linked onto the Pitt website. And I know a bunch of them are already linked already. Guest seating is general admission, first come, first serve. We are only going to be in the lower bowl of AccuShore. So the upper levels, if you're familiar with the stadium, will not be open. They are currently in the process of construction and they're replacing all the seats up there. So we will not have access to that. That is not a big deal because we have more than enough seats on the lower bowl. And honestly, I'm not sure you'd want to sit up there and try to look down onto the field to see a ceremony. It's a little bit different than watching a football game. But there's plenty of seats. There's accessible seating in every section. So everything will be open in the lower bowl. And again, all the graduates will be sitting on the field. The stage will be on the field. And so all of your kids will be down on the field sitting. They sit within their schools. We divide them up by schools. We do not put students alphabetically within their school. There's just too many graduates to try to do that and to try to coordinate that, but they sit within their schools on the field. The timing. So the gates for AccuShore will open at 2 o'clock. Again, we were trying to avoid the pirate game, so that will already have started. The gates for AccuShore will open up at 2 o'clock. Everybody has to go through security in order to enter the stadium. And if you've gone to a game, everybody has to go through security. So the students will have to go through security as well. The graduates will be entering the stadium via gate 6, which is normally not listed on a diagram if you look at AccuShore, but the students will know where that is. That's where the buses drop them off to go to the football games off that street. So the graduates enter from a separate door. So you guys can come down together, but you will be separated. All the graduates go through one area, and friends and family and guests will enter AccuShore through 2 entrances, gate A or gate C. There is a gate B that will not be open for the ceremony. And that side of the stadium is going to be under a little bit of a construction. For those of you who don't know, the NFL draft is being held. They're going to be busy at AccuShore. The draft is being held the weekend before. So they are still going to be tearing down. The draft is actually being held in the parking lots and not inside the stadium. So they will be doing construction and tearing down on the B side of the stadium. So that will not be open to us. So again, there's a diagram on the website linked to that. So all guests can come in A and C. As I mentioned earlier, the T will drop you off literally right outside of gate C. The T drops off there. The Gateway Clipper puts you right at gate A. So, and then parking is kind of all around, and the buses will drop you off right outside of gate C as well. So gate B we're just not using. So 2 options for guests to come in. Just one thing I always like to throw out there is it's very important for you guys, again, as you're planning your day, to pick a location for your graduate for after the ceremony. When the ceremony ends, people scatter. And it's a little bit different than being at the Pitt or at PPG where it was a little bit more contained and the building wasn't quite as big. But please just pick a location where you know you're going to be able to find your graduate afterwards. Okay, so the bag policy, again, this is AccuSure's policy. They have a clear bag policy and a non-clear bag policy. The non-clear one is normally a wristlet or something small. They generally follow with a clear bag policy. There are exceptions after inspection. So if you come up to security and you have either a medical bag or a diaper bag, they will let you in with those, but they're going to pull you off to the side and do a check on your bag. So the less that you bring in, the easier it is for you to get through security. Now, I know someone's going to ask a question about a camera bag. We're working on that. I'm not quite sure what the answer is to that, but we will let you know. Chances are they're going to let you in. They just kind of gave me the impression that anybody's bringing something in, it will be inspected. So what we don't want to have happen is people bring a lot of stuff with you, bags and things like that, and they tell you you can't bring it in. It's better to stick with the clear bag and the non-clear bag policy sizes, because again, you are not, if you ride the shuttle down, if you take the clipper over, what I don't want is anybody to be turned away because they didn't follow the bag policy and then there's nowhere to put your bags at. So again, please take that time to plan out your day and plan what you're bringing with you. And then you won't have any issues getting into the building. So our other hotbed thing is the tickets. So the great thing about being at AccuShore now is that we were able to obviously increase the tickets. So graduates, when they register to attend the ceremony, there is a part of the registration process that asks them, how many tickets do you want? They can request up to 1 up to 8 tickets total. So whatever they request is what we're going to be giving them once the tickets come out. Um, we have emphasized asking people not to take more tickets than what they need, and that has worked amazingly well. Because what has happened before is that if you automatically get 4 tickets, 5 tickets, 6 tickets, you may not be using all those, and then we can't redistribute any of those. So it's been great. Everybody's just been requesting what they need. And when the tickets go out, they'll get the exact number of tickets that they requested. Another question that's popped up a lot is as far as infants. Infants 2 and under do not need a ticket to get in, but they must sit on an adult lap. So you cannot take up a seat for an infant 2 and under. If you don't want to hold them in your lap, then they need to have a ticket to get in, but they must be sitting on an adult lap. So tickets will be emailed out to the registered graduate. So the students get the link for the tickets. It's on a rolling basis and it starts the week of April 20th. And I really want to highlight this because people will start, especially I see it on Facebook and we get phone calls too. You should never pay for a ticket. And anybody who emails or puts something out on Facebook that says, I have 2 tickets, who wants them? They don't have them. Our office doesn't even have the ticket codes until the week of April 20th. We get those from Ticketmaster. So any posts that say, I have them, who wants to buy them off of me, those are scams. And we don't want anybody to be scammed on tickets. There will be enough for everybody to go around. Even when we were at PPG Paints, everybody managed to find a ticket when we were limited. So I don't want anybody paying for tickets. And just do your due diligence. There are kids who registered for 8 tickets who realize, oh, I only need 6. I will have 2 extra. And you may be able to claim them from other people and do things like that, which is how it's done in the past. But please don't pay for tickets. Again, email, call us. Once we have a better grasp of how many tickets are out there, we may be able to redistribute them and repurpose them, which is what I'm going to get into here. So the tickets will go out. They go directly to the student, the graduate student. They get a link on how to download them, and then they transfer them to their guests. So parents don't get you'll get tickets from your graduate. Friends and family get tickets from the graduate. There's nobody out there that has access to any links except the student themselves. They can start claiming their tickets as soon as they get them, and we encourage students to claim them as soon as they can. Because what happens is they wait until the day of and there's a problem downloading or there's a technical issue. There's nobody to help them at that point. So we tell students claim those tickets as soon as possible. New this year is they must claim their tickets by April 29th. So any tickets that are unclaimed after April 29th will revert back to our office and we will be doing whatever we can to reallocate those. I don't know our process yet for how we're going to do that. But if we are able to reclaim tickets and people need them, we're just going to keep pulling them back and getting them out. That is different than what we've done in the past. And like I said before, so there's 10% of students who sign up to attend the ceremony who make the decision that they're not going to attend. And that's totally fine. The problem is that those tickets are sitting out there with them and we can't pull those back and give them to somebody else who needs them. So we put this in place and we'll make sure that we hammer this home with the students so that they know they have to claim their tickets by April 29th. If they don't, those codes will not be valid anymore and we're going to do what we can to get out whatever tickets we need to. Our goal is to make sure that everybody who wants to attend has a ticket. So that's what we're going to be doing this year. And all tickets are electronic. We don't have an option with this. We're trying to figure out if we may be able to get some printed and put them at will call as a first come, first serve. I don't know that that's going to happen. Again, if we are able to, that'll be on the website. But you must have an electronic device. As this day and age, you need to have electronics to get in anywhere. So all the tickets have to be on a mobile device, and they'll scan them whenever they come in. Students do not need a ticket to enter the building. So those tickets that they request, 1 through 8, those are for guests only. Students receive a name announcement card that's emailed to anybody who's registered to graduate the week of April 27th. And we try to get those out all at one time, but sometimes it ends up being on a rolling basis. This name announcement card is the student's ticket to get into the building. That's how we know that they registered. They got a card, and they print that out, and they have to show it to us whenever they come in through their entrance. This card is very important. This is how we announce their name, because all students get their name announced when they cross the stage. And there's also a special QR code on there that allows us to display their name on the scoreboard as their name is announced. If it's not printed, we can't do that. And there's kids who show up and I don't have it, or I have it on my phone. We just can't accept that. If it's on their phone because they get it emailed to them, we could scan their QR code, but we don't have anything to announce their name because the name announcers don't have a piece of paper, and vice versa. If they show up without anything, we could scroll or write their name on a piece of paper, but it's not going to be displayed. So everybody who's registered gets their name announcement card. They get instructions on how to print it, and they're told they have to bring it. If they show up without it, they get pulled out of line, and we need to check to see if they are registered and what we can do to help them. We don't like to do that because there's 3,500 kids trying to come in at the same time, and it gets to be difficult. So if they don't have their name card, they're pulled out of line until we can figure out what we need to do with them. So all of this, again, is relayed to the graduate again, but just so you know, if your graduate shows up without a piece of paper in their hand, they're going to have a bit of an issue. But that gets sent to the student, and then they'll take care of that. And then just a few other details to wrap up. The event is live streamed. It's sent to the Pitt's YouTube channel, and there will be a link on the commencement website for the day of. Friends and family, out of town people, out of the country. It's live streamed, so they are able to watch it. Obviously, it's recorded, and then it is stored on Pitt's YouTube. So you can go back and watch years ago, the different ceremonies. We keep it up on there, and then it's live streamed the day of. Concession stands, there are stands within Accushore Stadium, and they will be open. I can't say if everything will be opened. They're kind of trying to work all that out now, but if you get there early, snacks, all that good stuff, it will be open. So there are concession stands that you can utilize. So how long is the ceremony? This is always one of my favorite things because sometimes you see people are like, it's 4 hours, it's 5 hours, it's hours and hours. It should last about 3 hours. So at PPG Paints last year, it was exactly 3 hours on the dot. So we actually time it. Again, while we're there and working the ceremony, we keep track of all kind of different things. So we write down the times of when does Arts and Sciences start? When does Swanson School of Engineering start? Where are we at? Last year it ended at exactly 3 hours. So it may feel like it's longer if you get there right when the doors open. If you get there early and are waiting outside, it may seem like it's longer, but we've done a pretty good job with streamlining the ceremony, especially when you consider that we're announcing 3,500 names to keep it to 3 hours. So we are anticipating a 3 hour again. It should not go longer than that. It's not going to go longer than that. Professional photos. We use a company called Grad Images. They come and take photos as the kids enter. It's more like a professional shot. They'll do them as they come in. And then they take photos of the kids approaching the stage, crossing the stage, shaking hands. They get a bunch of action shots that they can. They will have your students' email, and they'll send a link to them about a week or so after the ceremony. Then you're able to see all their photos if you want to buy any. We do not have anything to do. We've used this company for years, and most of the other schools do as well. It's just another service so that you can get some action shots and get your graduation photos. They generally turned out pretty well, but your students will get an email and a link to look at those, and if you want to purchase those, you can. Any questions about that? We just send people back to Grad Images because we don't really have anything to do with that, but they're just there to provide a service. There will be on-site vendors if you want to buy flowers for your graduate. They will be stationed there for flower purchases. Additional merchandise may be on sale. As most of you probably know, the Pitt Panthers play at AccuSure Stadium, so they do sell a lot of Pitt merchandise. We're not quite sure what's going to be open and what's not, and AccuSure is trying to wade through all that. So there may be additional things that you can buy while you're there. Diplomas. Diplomas are not handed out at the ceremony, and they're actually not handed out at anyone's ceremony. So I know some of the smaller ones, your graduate may get a diploma holder when they cross the stage. We give something to everybody when they cross the stage, but it is not their actual diploma. So the registrar's office still needs to process everything, make sure everybody passed. We know they all will. Make sure they're eligible to graduate, and then the diplomas are mailed out from the registrar's office about 4 to 6 weeks after the term ends. Any questions about that, you can always redirect that to the registrar's office, but no one is walking away that weekend with their diploma in their hand. Pitt just does not do that, so don't expect to get a diploma that day. Whew, and that is it. So hopefully I covered most of the topics. Like I said, we will be adding things as we get closer to the day with more and more details. It's always great to check back. Commencement.pitt.edu again is the website where you can get everything from. And again, please don't hesitate to email or call us with any questions that come up. And even, we say that everything's on the website, but I feel like, as I said, I've been here for 20 years. We've all been here for a while. What makes sense to us on the website may be confusing to someone who is not familiar with commencement or how things go, or, your kids are off here living their lives and now you need to try to understand something. It may be confusing to you. So there's no silly question, no redundant question. Please call or email us and we'll do the best that we can to answer those. So that's the end of my presentation. I was not able to see the Q&A at all or what's been going on behind the scenes. So if there's anything else we need to talk about, questions, anything else you want more information on, this is the time to do so.
Sharon, thank you so much. It always amazes me that in like 40 to 45 minutes you get through so much information. I have been monitoring the Q&A and a lot of those questions have been answered. Ashley did flag a few to answer live, and so the first one is, as you take a sip of water, take your time. Will there be accessible shuttles for wheelchair users?
Yes. So these are the shuttles that will be coming from campus down to the stadium and back. So the main, this is where we're at right now. So, but this was the plan, is that everything is going to be leaving from Soldiers and Sailors, that area. We did that last spring and it seemed to work out well, where we have like a hub. All the shuttles will leave from there and they'll all come back and drop people off there. Most of them are school buses to take people down and back. There are accessible, probably about 5 or 6 shuttles that are ADA accessible. So both areas, if you can get on a school bus, you can ride that. The ADA accessible shuttles will be there to drop people off. And we are also on the ADA topic. We are finalizing, we have another meeting next week for where the best place to drop off people who need some accessibility assistance. And we'll have a drop off location and things like that. One thing, now I'm just going to keep adding to that. One thing to consider, and what I kind of highlighted before, was that parking is not right next to the building. So I know we've had some people write in, ask about handicap parking. We will have a list eventually of different parking lots that are available. The Gateway Clipper is accessible. The T is accessible. You are able to get in every entrance at the stadium, and obviously the stadium is ADA accessible from top to bottom. There's accessible seating within the lower bowl, and they are going to have some additional ADA seating on the field as needed in case we need it. So no one will go without a seat, and they will be able to get down and back from campus easily.
Thank you. The next, a few asked this question about, is there a map of where the stage will be for the orientation so they know, how to pick their seat?
Mm-hmm. There should be as we get closer to the day of. We're still trying to work on those details, but we hope to be able to put something up. Logistically, I can tell you if anybody's familiar with the stadium, the stage is going to be on the field around the 10-yard line or so. And the stage is behind it is going to be the really big jumbotron, if you're familiar with the stadium at all. So that will be behind the stage. The stage will be facing onto the field. And hopefully, we will get to a point where once we have the layout of who's sitting where, we should be able to put that up on the website so you know that, my child is in the School of Social Work. Where is the approximate area of where they're going to be sitting at? So we should be able to put that up on the website as we get closer to the day of.
Wonderful. There's a follow-up question a little bit on that about will they know the order the schools will be announced in?
Probably. Right now, we're trying to look at that right now, of how we're going to do that. I can't say that the health sciences schools are always done first. Dr. Shaker, who is the senior vice chancellor for the health sciences, recognizes all those schools. So any school within the health sciences goes first. Pharmacy, SHRS, public health. I'm drawing a blank. I can't think of who else is in health sciences, but they get recognized first, and then all the other schools go second. So we should be able to put something together that will at least show you where they're sitting at on the floor and how the flow is going to go.
Thank you so much. I know lots of our questions have been answered. I see some repeat questions. A reminder that this webinar is recorded and it will post to our Student Affairs YouTube channel in just a day or so. It's always my hope to get it up same day, but that doesn't always work. Ashley, did I miss any? Not to put you on the spot, Ashley, behind the scenes. Are there any that we've missed or not answered at all? I want to make sure that I got all the ones you flagged for live, but also Sharon, Molly wrote, no questions, great presentations. Thank you, Molly, for the feedback. And if you see Sharon on commencement day, like you have to give her or her team a high five because I cannot even imagine the amount of steps you will get in that day.
Yeah. Yeah, it is a little overwhelming. We went down there one time, Jason and I, who's on here as well. We made one site visit so far, and um, it's a big stadium. But I can say that I even, sometimes I feel like I get a little jaded because I've done this for so long. But we were standing on the field, just and they're pointing out here's where the stage will go and here's where they'll sit, and it really, aside from people are concerned about the weather and things like that. I just feel like your graduate is going to love being on the field at AccuSure Stadium, seeing themselves on that jumbotron. And, a lot of kids go to the football games and they're there quite a bit. And it was pretty exciting to be on the field and to visualize that. So, rain or shine, it's going to be a fantastic day for your graduates. And I think it's really going to be nice.
I agree. I have goosebumps just thinking about it. Like it's so awesome and such a staple in our city, right? That like area. And that's where if they've gone to Pitt football games, that's the stadium your students have been in. And so it's really exciting. One last question I see coming in, can the students have their phones with them on the field?
They can. Um, Actually, one of the great things about them having their phones on the field is that I know it's funny when you watch them because they're constantly on their phone because once they're in their seat, they're trying to call their friends and family and are like, hey, I'm here. And all you do is see kids on the field like waving their hands and talking on their phone so that their parents or their friends or family can find them on the field. So they are allowed to have their phones down there. We do, just to throw this out there, restrict what other things they can bring on there. And we tell the graduates not to bring anything else. Um, Beach balls, I mean, anything, projectiles, anything like that will be confiscated and they're going to run the risk of getting removed. So we tell people not to bring anything else. But they can't have their phones and take photos and do all that kind of fun stuff on the field.
Thank you so much. Want to make sure everyone sees how to contact the Office of Special Events. It's still up on the slides. So you can get any questions that come up as you're doing that advanced planning so you have the best commencement weekend ever. Sharon, thank you so much. A reminder, the webinar will be posted to our Pitt Student Affairs YouTube channel. And we're just so excited to celebrate with you and your family and your student. And thank you. Thanks for joining us.
Great. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.